Mark, you make me laugh, Mark, with this. I can't believe they're unhappy. They've got smartphones and Xboxes, and we never did. That's a beautiful contribution from the perspective, I presume, of early middle age. Because I would have thought, you'd have thought the same. I always remember my first producer on this programme, lovely bloke. And he used to get, he was very mild-mannered. He very rarely lost his temper, even working with me in my pre-therapy days. He very rarely lost his temper. He was a master class of moderation and modesty. And he used to get so cross about the phone-in trope of young people spending all their time playing video games instead of being outdoors, because he would point out quite reasonably, and this is 20 years ago, goodness knows how much things have improved since then, he'd point out quite reasonably that rather than having to stand in the dripping rain, frozen to your marrow, while someone twice the size of you sat on your head in a scrum, or pushed you over on the football pitch, or you're running through the woods holding a stick and pretending it's a gun, he pointed out you could sit in your sitting room with your best friends and actually play on a screen a level of football that you would never in a million years, unless you were David Beckham, be able to achieve on a foot. You used to get so exercised about. Of course they're not playing outside. Have you seen the quality of the technology? And I know that. That's the point that Mart is making. And it makes some, it has some... And then Chris comes in with exactly the same point and arrives at exactly the opposite conclusion. He says it's obvious why they're unhappy. They've got the smartphones and the computer games that we never had.
I've been smoking since I was 11 years old.
Well, I need to know how old you are now to really get the full measure of that statistic.
Okay. Well, I'm a young 57-year-old.
That's 46 years, that is, Chris.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
And the way it started was my dad used to smoke the Gold Virginia roll-ups indoors.
Yes.
So you're watching your dad smoke and you think, well, that's cool. And you think that's normal and acceptable. And then you go and play in a park somewhere, there's older kids there, and they're smoking a cigarette. And you say, give me a 2 on that. So you start having a drag on a cigarette, right? And now you think you're cool. Now you think, oh, yeah, I'm all growing up now. And it just flowed from there.
Yeah.
And I think the smoking ban in a garden, absolutely spot on. Because look how the law's changed, right?
So where will you go then? Where will you go for a crafty smoke?
Well, out of sight.
Out of sight, out of mind.